Good afternoon. I'm Chef Tony Hedger from L'Ecole Culinaire in St. Louis, Missouri. Today, what we're going to be doing is German chocolate frosting. Everybody likes German chocolate frosting. I can't think of anybody that doesn't like German chocolate frosting. It is just one of those icings that I love. Okay, so it's not that hard to make. It's just that you understand the principles of German chocolate frosting. It's almost like a custard or making an old-fashioned rice pudding. To do that, first thing that we're going to do is we're going to heat up a pan slightly. And we're going to add about 4 ounces of butter. We're going to let that kind of melt a little bit, and then we're going to add sugar, vanilla, evaporated milk, and egg yolk. To do that, your egg yolks is going to do, while your sugar is going to thicken up a little bit, your egg yolk is your liaison. A liaison being something that forms several ingredients into one. So that's going to be our binding custard. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and throw our evaporated milk in. Sugar, 1 cup. About a quarter teaspoon of vanilla. And of course our egg yolk. First thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to allow this butter, evaporated milk, and sugar and vanilla to come together. And then I'll add the egg yolk in. I don't want to add it too early because then I run the risk of it cooking. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and stir that. I'm going to raise the heat on that just slightly. There we go. And then once we get everything to come together, we'll add the pecans and the shredded coconut. Now you can use whatever type of coconut you'd like to use. There are several types out on the market. There's what's called a desiccated coconut. A desiccated coconut is nothing more than dry. You also have this, which is sweetened coconut strands. And then you have the unsweetened strands. Whatever you like. Make sure it's whatever you desire or your client desires if you're a cake maker. Okay, so we're about there. Once that sugar is dissolved, I'm going to go ahead and add my egg yolk in. I'm going to go ahead and use a rubber spatula so I get all of it. I got 3 egg yolks plus about a teaspoon of water. Okay, make sure we get all that. Now it's going to thicken up a little bit for us. We already have that nice color of the German chocolate or German chocolate frosting. Kind of getting that brownish beige. Trying to bring everything together. Now what I'm waiting for is just to warm up a little bit. The egg yolk to start thickening. Okay, and then I'm just going to keep stirring because I don't want anything to cook. Nothing is worse when you're doing a frosting and you have to throw it in the garbage because you have an egg that cooked inside of your product. Okay, nobody likes sweet eggs. I don't like sweet eggs. I'll take syrup with my eggs, when that waffle's on the side, but not directly as far as cooking egg in a syrup. I'm just not all about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to throw the nuts in. These are pecan pieces. The pecan pieces will toast a little bit while they're into the frosting. Okay, they're going to start cooking. Okay. Get our heat just a little higher. There we go. And then at the last moment, I'm going to throw in that shredded coconut. Just waiting for this to start thickening. German chocolate cake is one of the best things in the world as far as I'm concerned. And we're going to actually make the cupcakes with it. Okay? So one thing that you have to understand about German chocolate frosting is that once you do it, it's all still like a rice pudding or an old-fashioned rice pudding, where once it thickens up, you still have to let it sit, let it cool off. If you try to eat it too quickly, you'd burn the inside of your mouth, and we don't want that. So now we've got the coconut in, and we're just going to let that cook just a few minutes. Looking for everything to start thickening. There we go. We're getting there. A lot of people get too afraid of frostings that are a little bit complicated, and German chocolate frosting is a little bit complicated. You can also do some sort of cookies with German chocolate frosting, and it goes well in that. See, now we're starting to thicken very nicely. There we go. Just make sure that it cools off properly before you try to work with it, especially if you're trying to put it into a plastic piping bag. If you put it into a plastic piping bag, just a little note that you'll want to make sure that, one, it's cool, and two, that you have a very large hole in the bottom. If you don't, it won't come out at all. So that's why a lot of people prefer not to put them into a piping bag, that they would just go ahead and spoon it on top of their product. If you go ahead and you look at that, you'll see that it's very nice and thick. We're about ready to let this cool down. Don't let this get on your skin. If it gets on your skin, it's going to be like molten lava. It will blister you real quick. Okay, so try to be very careful when you're stirring. If you see it right now, it's very thick and bubbly. And we're done. I'm going to stir that with no fire on the pan at all. I'm going to displace that heat a little bit before I throw it into a bowl. We'll grab our bowl real quick. Now, if you tasted it at this point, you would get nothing more than a burnt mouth. Okay, so don't get the temptation, one, to stick your finger in it, and two, to put it in your mouth. It would not be a good thing. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and take that. Now, as it cools, it's going to thicken a little bit more. Okay. And then once this cools, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll probably just spoon this on top of the cupcakes. You could also cut the cupcake in half, put a little bit in the middle, and then put a little bit on top and kind of make them a little bit more decadent. Okay? That's German chocolate frosting. I'm Chef Tony Hedger from L'Ecole Culinaire in St. Louis, Missouri. Thank you.